Caitlin Clark continues to set the bar when it comes to her impact on female athletics.
Stephen A. Smith has never been one to shy away from big statements, but this time he's dropped an absolute bombshell about Caitlin Clark's Adidas deal. You won't believe how Nike, the biggest name in sports, completely fumbled the bag when it came to Clark, and how Adidas swooped in like a superhero.
Shoot. The deal is the richest sponsorship contract for a women's basketball player. She deserves it! She deserves it!
Adidas is betting big on Clark's future, and Stephen A. Smith is all over it, calling it one of the boldest moves in sports history. So what went down? Let's dive into this bizarre turn of events that's changing the game.
WNBA, as we all know, is wrapping up this remarkable season of growth and interest. And it comes off the heels of what Caitlin Clark helped achieve at Iowa for the last couple of years, those remarkable ratings, the women's tournament outrating the men's. But there have been some growing pains as well. Right?
Caitlin Clark was supposed to be Nike's golden girl. They handed her a massive $28 million deal, promising to make her the face of women's basketball. But what happened after that? Nothing. No signature shoe, no big marketing campaigns, no billboards. Nike completely dropped the ball. Clark kept breaking records, and Nike kept sitting on their hands, leaving her sidelined while other athletes got the spotlight. Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back on calling out Nike for treating Clark like just another player when she's clearly a superstar in the making. According to Smith, Nike's approach was a joke. They had one of the biggest names in sports and did nothing with her. Fans were left wondering why Nike wasn't plastering Clark's face all over the place, especially when she's been one of the most talked about athletes in women's sports.
It kind of brings us back to 1997, right, when Tiger Woods broke through at the Masters as a 21-year-old, that remarkable performance. And I'm trying to think, has there been an athlete since Tiger Woods, and of course his impact extended beyond the golf course, but in terms of the way they have generated interest in their game, in their sport, the way that Caitlin...
Smith questioned the brand's lack of marketing, saying, "Where's the hype? Where's the signature shoe? Why isn't Nike pushing Clark to the forefront?" The frustration was real, and Smith wasn't the only one noticing. Nike had promised Caitlin the world, but instead they left her high and dry. Now, she's looking for bigger and better things, and Adidas is ready to deliver.
That will include her own signature shoe. The deal is the richest sponsorship contract for a women's basketball player. She deserves it! She deserves it! Now let me say something to all the ladies out there, okay? Somebody coming along and elevating the sport shine ultimately benefits you. Go out there, compete with her, try to bust her up if you want to, and all of that stuff. Just don't hate on the acclaim that she's getting.
We're not just talking about a small upgrade. Adidas is offering Clark double what Nike promised. A 4-year, $20 million deal with a signature shoe coming in just a few months, not years. Adidas saw the potential that Nike missed and is betting big on Clark becoming the face of women's basketball globally. Stephen A. Smith was all over this. He praised Adidas for seeing what everyone else could, that Clark is a generational talent and they're ready to invest in her future. Unlike Nike, which seemed hesitant to give Clark the spotlight she deserves, Adidas is making her the centerpiece of their women's sports strategy. And they're not stopping at shoes. Adidas plans to launch a massive marketing campaign that includes everything from commercials to billboards in major cities around the world. Smith pointed out that Adidas is offering Clark the opportunity to truly build her brand. They're positioning her to become a global superstar with her name and face everywhere. Nike might have missed the boat, but Adidas, they're ready to take Caitlin Clark's career to the next level.
Go out there, compete with her, try to bust her up if you want to, and all of that stuff. Just don't hate on the acclaim that she...
Adidas's plan to make Caitlin a global icon goes beyond just basketball in America. Adidas is focused on Europe, where they see massive potential for Clark to expand her brand and reach a whole new level of fame. We're talking about billboards in Paris, commercials in Berlin, and fans in Barcelona wearing her jersey. Adidas is giving her a passport to global stardom. Adidas sees what Nike didn't. Clark's appeal isn't limited to the US. The European market is untapped for women's basketball, and Clark could be the athlete to open the floodgates. Adidas knows that Clark has the talent and charisma to connect with international audiences, and they're ready to invest in making her a household name across Europe. While Nike has been focused on US athletes, Adidas has always had a strong presence in Europe, especially with soccer stars. Now they're bringing that same strategy to basketball, and Clark is their key to breaking through in the global market.
And I know some people out there, particularly folks, you understand, that are looking at us, especially you African American, you're thinking about all the years that you've toiled through the terrain and you've tried to elevate the sport and your own profile and your own cachet. And Madison Avenue and stuff like that, they didn't seem receptive to it. Well, times have changed. And guess what? It's going to change for the better because Caitlin Clark's going to help it change for the better.
Caitlin isn't stuck in her deal with Nike. There's a breach clause in her contract that could let her walk away without any legal issues. And this is where things get really interesting. Stephen A. Smith didn't hesitate to bring up this wild card in Clark's pocket, a way for her to break free from Nike's broken promises and sign with Adidas without any trouble. She has the chance to leave Nike behind and join a company that's not only offering her more money, but also a real plan to elevate her brand. With Adidas already waiting in the wings, Clark could make a clean break and finally get the recognition she deserves. It's not just about switching brands. Clark's move could be a signal that she's done waiting for Nike to get their act together. Stephen A. sees this as the ultimate opportunity for Clark to take control of her career. This looks like a start of something much bigger. If this deal goes through, it could revolutionize the landscape for women's sports.
Sudden, we gonna see Asia Wilson. She may get some more shine because she's that girl. Diana Taurasi, she gonna get more shine because we know what she brings to the table. Ionescu, she's gonna get more shine. Others, black, white, everything in between. It's about the ladies, now more so than ever before. And if Caitlin Clark helps you appreciate.
Adidas is building a brand around Clark that stretches beyond basketball. We're talking fashion lines, media partnerships, and lifestyle brands. Adidas is positioning Clark to be more than just a player. They're making her into a cultural icon. Stephen A. Smith sees this as a game-changing moment. In his eyes, Clark is becoming the face of a new era in women's sports. This deal could inspire other female athletes to think bigger, to see themselves not just as athletes but as brands in their own right. Clark's deal with Adidas could set a new standard for how women in sports are marketed and supported. Smith was clear about one thing: this isn't just about basketball shoes. This is about Clark paving the way for a generation of female athletes to dream bigger, to reach heights that go far beyond the court. If Adidas follows through, Clark could become one of the most influential figures in women's sports history.
It almost felt like the WNBA wasn't ready for what Caitlin Clark was going to bring with her.
One of the most interesting possibilities Stephen A. Smith discussed is Caitlin Clark making a move to play basketball in Europe. Adidas sees Europe as a key to building Clark's global brand, giving her new opportunities and a broader audience. Playing in European leagues would allow Clark to embrace the Adidas brand fully without the restrictions of her Nike contract. Imagine Clark dominating in places like Madrid or Istanbul, representing Adidas while building a following overseas. The exposure she'd gain in Europe, combined with Adidas marketing power, could elevate her status worldwide. Of course, a move like this comes with challenges. Clark would face new competition, a different style of play, and being away from familiar territory. But for Stephen A., this could be a huge opportunity for Clark to grow beyond what she's already accomplished. Moving to Europe could help her tap into markets she hasn't reached yet and take her career to another level.
And I don't think the WNBA was truly ready for what was going to happen with the casual fan coming in.
Caitlin Clark's Adidas deal, as Stephen A. Smith revealed, could be the turning point of her career. With Adidas offering more than Nike ever did, and the potential for global fame through a move to Europe, Clark's next steps could change the landscape of women's sports forever.
Big picture. Think big picture. Don't get caught up in all that other stuff that everybody's got to say. Hating on Caitlin Clark. She's a good girl. Very smart.
Will she break free from Nike and take Adidas offer, or is there more to this story waiting to unfold? What do you think? Will Caitlin Clark choose Adidas and make the leap to Europe? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so you know every time we upload a new On Bob video.